Hi, let's begin with a very basic numerical question. Is a 2 better than a 1? Let's add a phone angle to that. Is A2 better than A1? Ask me, Xiaomi. After all, they made the phones. Hi, this is Nimish Dubey from TechPP, and we are going to be reviewing the Xiaomi Mi A2. Xiaomi surprised a lot of people last year when it announced the Mi A1. This was because the phone was part of the Android One initiative from Google. Now, why was that interesting? It was interesting mainly because right until that time, the company had always pushed its own interface, MIUI. In fact, at one stage, I even remember Hugo Barra telling us, I want people to think of when they're going to get the next version of MIUI on their phones rather than the next version of Android. Well, that seemed to change a little with the arrival of the Mi A1, which is part of the Android One initiative. Now, the Android One initiative basically means that your phone is made in collaboration with Google on the software side. Google makes sure you get updates, and the hardware is also optimized to run Android. You get stock Android, pure Android. Now, Xiaomi was known for MIUI. Xiaomi, nevertheless, made a stock Android device, the Mi A1. Almost a year down the line, we now have its successor, right out here, the Mi A2. Just like the Mi A1 was based on another Chinese model called the Mi 5X, this one is largely based on its successor, the Mi 6X. In terms of appearance, if you can look at it, this is, I won't say unusual. You have got a 5.99-inch 18:9 aspect display right in front of you, full HD plus, and covered with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. So it's going to be pretty resilient. The back is metal, sheet metal, and the camera unit juts out. That is a complaint we had heard about the Redmi Note 5 Pro too, to which this bears more than a passing semblance, the camera unit jutting out. We have been given many reasons for the rear camera unit jutting out, and we won't go into them right now. Suffice to say, it looks a trifle unusual because you've got a flat back and then this juts out very conspicuously. Shades of a company in Cupertino? Perhaps, but again, we are talking about the Mi A2 here. The dual cameras actually are supposed to be the main selling point of the device. This is a 12 megapixel rear camera and a 20 megapixel one working in combination. The 12 megapixel sensor is the main one. It's an IMX486 sensor from Sony. The 20 megapixel one is the IMX376. Xiaomi says this is probably the best pair of cameras they have put on a smartphone in India. Of course, we will get onto that later. Let's first finish off with the appearance. This is a relatively slim device. It's about 7.4 millimeters. It fits in the hand rather well. The term hand feel is good. It's a smooth back. Okay, it's not going to be easy to use with one hand. It is a tall device. If you've got a small hand, you're going to have to end up using both hands, but it is still impressively compact. In terms of specs, there is a lot inside to like out here. This is Xiaomi's first device with the Snapdragon 660 processor. Yes, we have finally moved on to the Snapdragon 625. Hallelujah, let's all celebrate some other day maybe. But yes, you've got a full HD plus display, as I said. Snapdragon 660 processor, which Xiaomi says delivers a near flagship level performance. There is 4 GB RAM in here, 64 GB storage, only one variant, 4 GB, 64 GB to be released in India. You have an infrared port. You have all the connectivity options you would want. There's dual 4G, there's a fingerprint sensor, there's GPS, there is Wi-Fi. The complete works. And of course, this being an Android One device, you get the latest version of Android, which is 8.1, out of the box, and not just that, you are assured of Android updates for a period of 2 years. We've already received one security update. Mind you, there will be some people who point out that Xiaomi did have slight issues with the Mi A1's audio update. Well, maybe they have learned from that and we won't have the same problem here again. There's reason enough to be optimistic, surely. And of course, perched right above the display is a 20 megapixel selfie shooter. Face ID, face unlock, yes, it is there. The 20 megapixel front shooter is pretty much similar to the one on the back. It's again IMX376 from Sony. Finally, a word about the battery. It's a 3000 mAh battery, which some will say might have contributed to the device being so slim. There will be some who will say, well, maybe they could have bumped it up to 4000 mAh and made it thicker and made the cameras maybe not jet out so much. It's a school of thought. But right now, 3000 mAh, there is support for fast charging in the Type USB-C port. Single speakers, unfortunately. Part of this unfortunateness, if unfortunateness is a word, is the fact that there is still no dust or water resistance. But still, all in all, if you look at it, this is a pretty loaded device. You have a decent display, probably the best pair of cameras we have ever put on a device in India, to quote Xiaomi. A very, very decent selfie camera, 660 processor, enough RAM to go around, and well, plenty of storage as well. So how well does it perform? How well does all this come together in the end? When it comes to routine day-to-day operations, I'm talking of browsing the web, checking email, checking social networks, the Mi A2 performs flawlessly. There were no heating problems. We were able to run 16-17 tabs in Chrome, run a dozen applications at the same time. We never faced any lags. The Snapdragon 660 clearly delivers a very, very smooth performance. And this being a stock Android device, you do not have to worry so much about bloatware. Yes, Xiaomi has put a few of its own applications in there, like Mi Remote for controlling, remote controlling your air conditioners and your televisions and the like, and you have Mi Drop for transferring files. But no, there is no clutter here. You basically have a very clean Android experience and it works smoothly. We need to underline this because we had a few issues with the Mi A1 where we had pointed out things were a little buggy, applications crashed. Nothing of that sort to report here. We've been using this for a while. This thing has worked extremely well. Which of course brings us to what makes the Mi A2 special as per Xiaomi. Probably the best pair of cameras we've ever put on a smartphone. Is that true? Well, the answer depends on your perspective. The rear cameras actually work extremely well in good lighting conditions. Say if you're out and about in the streets in the afternoon, it's a bright day, you're going to end up getting great shots. Good colors, great detail. We would say it is very close to the OnePlus 6 in that department. Dim the lights a little and well, the news is not bad, but the goodness of the news seems to diminish, so to speak. Because while the Mi A2 does have the gift of picking up colors in low light, detail takes a bit of a hammering. We suspect that the absence of optical image stabilization, good old OIS, might have something to do with it. So yes, if you're taking a picture of something at night, make sure it stays rock steady and you'll still get a decent shot. Any hint of movement? Well, you might get blurs and well, grains will creep in. But all said and done, if you're saying you're looking at a phone with a good pair of dual cameras at this price point, this is a very competitive option. Hey, we said it matches the OnePlus 6 sometimes. That's high praise because the OnePlus 6 has a very, very good pair of dual cameras. A special note has also to be made of the front camera. Yes, it takes good selfies. It's a high resolution camera. You get good selfies. But one thing that surprised us was just how well the portrait mode worked. Yes, Xiaomi says that they have done some AI magic to make sure the background gets bokeh'd out in the proper way. We were surprised even half our face was getting captured perfectly and the background was getting bokeh'd perfectly. So yes, if you love selfies, this is a pretty good camera. Face unlock also incidentally works just fine. Good lighting conditions. One small qualification, it still sometimes unlocks when your eyes are closed. That bothers us a little. In sum, are these the best sets of cameras we have seen on a Xiaomi smartphone? Up till now, we would say yes. We would love to have had optical image stabilization out there for better low light performance. But if you're in good light conditions, you're going to get great photographs from this. This is definitely a step up from the Redmi Note Pro 5. That is saying something. So it scores on cameras and it scores on general performance. What about performance under slightly more stressed out conditions? Well, we have played our shares of games on the Mi A2 and so far the performance has been pretty good. Hitman Sniper is a game which we have found that often tests the resources of a phone pretty heavily. And the Mi A2, I won't say has handled it sublimely well. It has been the odd frame drop and the odd lag, but it's only the odd lag. Graphics still remain incredibly sharp. You're zooming in to shoot a person from range and there's snowflakes falling all over. All that thing works perfectly. You can play PUBG on it without too many problems also. And of course, if it can handle all the stuff, you can be more than assured that it's going to handle stuff like Temple Run, Angry Birds, Candy Crush, all that stuff. It's par for the course. The Mi A2 is not going to bust benchmarks, but it is just going to play your games. That's not a bad thing, is it? Which of course brings us to the matter of what is the bad news? Is there any? Well, some might accuse us of nitpicking, but we expected a bit more in terms of battery life. 3000 mAh is a decent enough battery size, and yes, it is going to get you through a day of normal to heavy usage. The catch is, you'll have to start with heavy and you'll have to start becoming normal and very careful as the day goes on. Because it's a good camera, you're going to take pictures, and battery starts dropping. Now, those who have been spoiled by the 4000 mAh batteries on the Redmi Note 5 and the Redmi Note 5 Pro will find this to be a little on the disappointing side. You want a device that lasts a day on a single charge? Hey, this will do just fine. You want a device that goes just a little further? And unfortunately, Xiaomi's other devices do just that. You might feel a teeny bit disappointed here. Another minor issue that we had was the fact that call quality at times seemed to be a bit on the lower side. It wasn't as if we could not make out what the other person was saying. But yes, there were times when the person sounded just a little bit distant. And of course, on the matter of sound, there's no 3.5mm audio jack in this. So you'll have to put up the Bluetooth receiver, or you'll have to use the adapter which comes in the box. That might be a deal breaker for some, even though many of us are now beginning to make our peace with it. Sound quality overall on headphones is pretty good. The Mi A1 also had good sound. The Mi A2 follows in its footsteps. The fingerprint sensor works a charm. We had slight issues when we had the cover attached on the back of the device because we suspect our finger slid over the cover onto the fingerprint sensor, and sometimes it won't unlock that smoothly. But by and large, most of the time, like most of the device, it just worked. So, should you be investing in the Mi A2? Well, it has got the works. A good processor, good display, very good cameras, among the best cameras we have seen on a Mi device for a while in India at least. Decent battery life, overall good performance, and of course the joys of stock Android. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have competition. At the time of recording this video, we were expecting the Mi A2 to be priced in the vicinity of Rs 20,000. It could go a bit this way, it could go a bit that. Xiaomi is quite capable of pulling a price rabbit out of its hat. It has done so in the past, we won't rule it out. But even if you were to assume that it is roughly in the vicinity of 20,000, it faces competition. Going up against it would be devices like the Zenfone Max Pro M1, which has a Snapdragon 636 processor, has received a software update, also runs stock Android. There will be some who will also think of the more expensive but the rather good looking and dishy Nokia 7 Plus. Yes, it is going to cost more, but that too has stock Android, that too has dual cameras, it looks so good, and hey, it's a Nokia, and hey, it's got a bigger battery. Who knows? And right now, even as we record this, Huawei has released the Honor Play, which at Rs 19,999 pretty much redefines the budget flagship in the Indian marketplace. So where does the Mi A2 stand in comparison to all these worthies? The answer is, it stands pretty tall. Because hey, there actually is not too much wrong with it. Good processor, good display, them cameras, and good daylight, them cameras. Stock Android, guaranteed updates, and the price. Should you invest in the Mi A2? It would be unfair to say no. This is a damn good phone at a damn good price. Let's get back to the original question. Is an A2 better than an A1? Yes, it is. It definitely is. It has to deal with a lot more competition, not just the A1. But right now, Xiaomi has definitely taken its Android One initiative a step further. We have a contender for the best Android One phone in the country. That's saying something, This is Nimish Dubey for TechPP.